everyone, it's your girl, the Bored Milf, aka Viddy Boop. I'm bored. Are you bored? Let's talk. So today I'm going to talk about closure. There's plenty of us everybody's been in a relationship, right? Been in a relationship, and it could be, I don't care how short it is, it could be 6 months, it could be 20 years. Could be a marriage, or just, some people don't care about marriage. Some people just like to have life partners, and it's basically a marriage anyway. What's the difference? It's just a piece of paper. But then you get so used to each other that everybody gets too comfortable with each other, and then their real self comes out. And because you didn't know that from the beginning, that's not something that you really prefer. Or some people just mature more than the other one, and things wind up happening and you guys split up. Some people can be very toxic. Some people can leave a relationship and they could be on good terms. But, a lot of the time, or for me, a majority of the time, it would be either one person really needs closure. And it's all depending on, for me, how someone actually left the relationship. If you left the relationship and all you did was cheat during the end, and you kept flaunting with different women, I'm just talking about myself as a woman, not so much a man, but vice versa. If if they decided that they didn't want to be with you anymore, but because you guys were together for such a long time, they found it hard to leave, you should have just left. You're making that one person feel like there's still hope and there's still a possibility of y'all working things out and, basically being able to get it right. I think nowadays that when people need closure, they want to know everything. They want to know why, the who, the what, the where. And, people are not prone to giving all that information because, one, no matter how logical that you think you are, no matter how upfront and honest you think you are, you're really not. Because at the end of the day, you do have feelings, or you do have empathy or sympathy for your ex-partner. And you don't want to crush them or hurt them any more than what you're already doing. So what do people do? They'll lie, or they'll just run away. There's a lot of men, for me, that just run away from the issues instead of dealing with them. And they'll run around the issue by saying really dumb, idiotic things like, I told you I was going to be doing this, or, I gave you the blueprint. What the fuck is the blueprint? Because the blueprint for me wasn't you going off and holding relationships with other fucking people and leaving me to deal with everything in the home. My ex used to say to me, he said, we had a really bad argument and I was done. He was done. He was already out there doing his thing. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, it was him. Like, I was so in love with this guy, and it's like, you just keep coming back, and me, and you're not dumb. You're just in love. And people always say that someone is dumb. Oh, you brought him back, you're dumb. And I don't think you're dumb. I just think that you're in love and you're not ready to let go because you feel like you invested so much into the relationship. Some people don't want to start over. Some people felt like that was their life person. That was their partner. That was their ride or die. That was their everything. And, kind of find out you're really not. Because that person, if you've been together for over 10, 15 years, that person grew just like you grew, but you grew to adapt to their changes too. But they couldn't, or it was too overwhelming with your changes. I feel like people don't know how to communicate nowadays anymore. And it's sad because a lot of relationships that could have been fixed are not fixed because nobody wants to communicate. Everybody wants to run away and think that the next person that comes along is their true person, their true love. And it really isn't. It's just people don't get it. There's such a thin line between love and lust. And you think you in love and you really in lust. And you sit here and you do these things with this other person to fill a void instead of just handling it and maybe getting closure, or getting that person to understand the reason why you felt the way you did, instead of just running off because you feel like, oh, they're not listening to me, oh, they don't understand me. Learn how to speak their language. That's the problem that I had. I spoke a different language than he did, and he still to this day would never understand, but he would leave, like, you're already off doing all this stuff with other women, but yet you still want to come back. And, I don't like when people use the excuse of having children. You're hurting them more than you are hurting me. You know what I mean? Like, so you can't go off, do you, and then turn around and be like, I miss my family. Let me go see them for one day. You are the biggest fucking asshole. If you're a man, that's not even a man. You're still a little boy. You can't go through life, and this goes for women too. You can't go through life thinking that everything has to go your way. And when someone tells you about yourself, you don't want to believe it. We all have this idea of who we are. So we think we're the nicest person. We think we're the most intelligent person. We think that we can, we know it all. We do all these different things differently than everyone else, when in all actuality, we're all actually the same. It's just that some personalities are heightened more than the other. And when you want to speak that language, you know what I mean? Nobody wants to hear about themselves. Nobody wants to hear that they're an asshole or they're a jerk when they think that they're going around doing charity work, or they feel like they're being the nicest person to everybody. Yes, different people bring out different things in a person, but you really have to realize that if you truly love that person, which I felt he did, but I guess he didn't, that you would learn to speak their language. As much as I try to speak his language, I mean, I was the most confused person in the world, because when I would break it down to him, he would literally tell me and get mad and get upset and storm off, and have these little tantrums and stuff because I didn't understand. So my defense mechanism used to be, not anymore, but my defense mechanism used to really be basically throwing shade. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't say nasty things all the time, but I would, what he considers mocking, I would just bring back the words that he just told me. So if you're telling me, that's not how it is, it's not what you think it is, and I find something out that it actually was what it was, I'm gonna come back to you. So I thought you didn't think it, I thought you told me that that's not what I think it is. So then you tell me, break it down to me and tell me what it actually is. He had a problem with being straightforward, and he always used to use examples all the time. The examples were spot on, don't get me wrong, but talk to me like a fucking human. Don't talk to me like I'm a kid. Don't belittle me. Communicate with me. Things became so bad, you know what I mean? Like really bad, to where I'm still thinking we're together and we're just having a tough spot. He needs a little bit of space, but he's going off having different relationships with different people. And it's not that I stayed. It's just, I was comfortable. I was comfortable not with the fact of what he was doing. I was more comfortable with the fact that, we could work it out, because we would have good days. Don't get me wrong. We would have extremely good days a lot of the time. But I think it was just something, it's more about him. So when you're in a relationship with somebody and you think that they're changing all of a sudden, that's really not them changing. That's them actually their true self coming out. And when their true self comes out, it just seems like a whole 360, just didn't turn on you. And it really wasn't. That's who they naturally were. And they just grew into that person while they were with you. And instead of when they got to a point where they were confused as to what they wanted in life as far as a relationship, when they got confused, they confuse you. So they may say, oh, well, I already told you, that I'm confused. then if you knew you were that confused, there's no need to stay. And I've given this man many of options to a point because I was so in love with this guy. And this is, a long time ago. So in love with this guy that I was like, okay, well, you had a kid on me. You went out and you were holding these relationships with other people, this and that, for whatever, and then I wound up cheating too. But he doesn't consider it cheating. You know what I mean? So, because the things that I did, you know what I mean? And I apologize. Of course I lied. Who wouldn't lie to protect the heart of someone else? Yes, it's bad, but we all do it. And he felt like he was the most honest person ever. And like, I didn't have to lie to him. All I had to do was come to him. And why? When all the things that you did led up to that. And that's not an excuse either. But, for me, if you're out there doing all those things and then I give you an option, you know what I mean, to leave, not even an option, but basically telling you to go, and you're trying your hardest to show somebody that, no, I'm not leaving because I love you. I'm in love with you. I want to be with you. This, not for, but you want to have your cake too. And and this went on for years. This went on for years to a point where when I did cheat, it wasn't the best choice. Don't get me wrong, but I felt alone. I felt that he wasn't paying no attention to me. And for me, I was the type of person with him that each time that I had an issue with anything that he did, or even if he wasn't doing anything, you know what I mean? He would just be there. And I literally would talk to him and say, look, we don't make love like we used to. We don't go out. We don't, you don't say things to me anymore. You don't, you know what I mean? Like, sometimes people need, some people need reassurance, and I do. Because when you get older, sometimes you don't feel like you look your best. Sometimes you feel like, you're just not the same person when you first met them. And that's okay. Because again, we all change. We change every day. But when you address those issues to your partner, I feel like if they love you, they're going to do their best to try to, not so much accommodate, but to compromise. Because I feel like I did a lot of things as far as things that he needed or wanted. And he said to me one day, he was like, no, you're loving me the way you think I should be loved. You're not loving me the way I want to be loved. So you're not showing me those things. So I can buy him things. I can make him dinner. I could have, rubbed his back, which I did all those things. But, what he wanted was honesty. What he wanted was, that's pretty much it. He just wanted honesty. And that was hard. That was a hard pill for me to swallow, because I felt like I'm giving you the things that I feel like a person that I want to give you because I love you. And he was right, because in turn, I had to turn to him and say, well, you're not loving me the way I need to be loved. You're not giving me those things that I need to feel loved by you. His reaction? Silent. Doesn't say a word. No actions. No words. What is that? It's confusing. You have to. That was the biggest problem for me, is that he felt like his actions don't have to match his words. And for me, that was my love language. Your actions have to match your words. And if your actions don't match your words, then I'm confused, and then I'm going to get irritated. I'm going to get upset. And I'm going to do something I don't want to do, or I mean, not don't want to do, but I'm going to do something to make me feel good. So if that takes me to leave you, or if that takes me for just that night to go and talk to somebody else, which again is bad, I think people should just leave. It's better to leave a situation than to linger on in it. Leave the situation. If you ever get to that point, leave. There's no point in sitting there and day after day wondering if this person loves you and you have your good day. He'll come home or I'll come home and we'll have a good day. And then the next day it's on some bullshit again. Nobody wants to live their whole fucking life like that. You know, and no one wants to hear someone nagging, or no one wants to hear someone sitting there and just being quiet. But, you know, through social media and this and that forth, it gets to a point where he stopped caring. And he withdrew because I called him a liar, because I caught him in lies, and because I didn't have proof. And he was the type of person that you had to have physical proof. Like a lawyer. He should have been a lawyer. You have to have physical fucking proof to accuse him of anything. Physical proof. I.e. pictures, i.e. text messages, i.e. this and that and the fourth. Oh, he's good. Oh, he is good. Good. Doesn't want to believe he's a manipulator. Doesn't want to believe that he can be narcissistic. Believe me, I can admit I probably was narcissistic. I probably was a little bit, not even a manipulator, because I don't like that. So I narcissistic traits are like you making someone believe something that ain't true and making them believe that it's true. Manipulating people. And it would just be the verbiage that he uses. It's like an interrogation. It was like you were on the stand. You were in a courtroom being interrogated. You were in a courtroom being prosecuted. And I learned to love him with his flaws and all. But it's like with my flaws, it didn't seem like love at all. I wasn't getting that, to a point where I just started shutting the fuck up, because I started feeling like the way, it's not even how he was talking to me, it's just what he did. It was just ignoring me, or again, finding out that you're with a chick, or this and that and the fourth, or whatever. And then on top of that, I gave him the option of, okay, fine, you're upset I cheated, with who I cheated with. I get it. It was wrong, so, he didn't want to leave. I didn't want to leave. We wanted to try to work it out. And I said, okay, fine. We were together for such a long time. And I was just like, look, we've been together for umpteen years. Eventually things change with what we want or like, and you don't want to leave. I don't want to leave. How about we just have an open relationship? The worst fucking idea I have ever proposed. Ever. If you're ever going to have an open relationship, and I'm not against anyone for any lifestyle that they want to live. If you're going to have an open relationship, please detail what your standards are, what your restrictions are, what your quote unquote rules are on what an open relationship is between the both of y'all, and y'all both need to agree and understand about that, because he really didn't understand. And if you were to talk to him now, he would literally say, I never explained that. I never said that. I never did something forth. I basically said, well, I'm feeling the way I'm feeling, and I still love you and I still want to be with you, but you're not providing for me that void that I need. So if I feeling a little fancy, I'm gonna do my thing, and it's okay for you to do yours. I literally basically said to him as well, that means if you are, you could talk to somebody, fine. If that's all you need, if you need something sexual from them, okay, that's fine too, but at the end of the day, you come home, everything's fucking normal. Ain't no staying late out. Ain't no, this person is my boyfriend, girlfriend, and tell them the fucking truth from the beginning of what it is. Period. Don't treat me no different. And if you're going to fall in love with somebody, leave me. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Let me deal with and process my healing, and, being able to heal the way I need to heal without no interruptions. Just leave me the fuck alone. Okay. Well, when I get to that point, Okay. Well, a year after that was proposed, because I really didn't do anything. Like, I knew one guy, I would go see him, and that was it. And for me, it would be while you're at work. When you come home, I was home. You know what I mean? I was home. I was home for you. Your days off, I'm there. I'm not leaving you during the time frame that, you're home. So I'm not going to sit here and look at you and say, oh yeah, I'll be right back. And then don't come back home or be out, long or this and forth. No, I would never do that. I didn't do that. I literally would wait and, I would schedule my time. Like, well, if you want to see me, I'm free this time. And that's it. I'm not trying to fall in love with nobody else because I'm in love with you. That works. To me, that will work. That will work. It didn't do that so well. So, I think, and I know I'm going on to different, topics or side stories or whatever. Hopefully you guys can bring along, but that's just how I talk. So so basically a year later, he started a new job. And for me, every person that he's ever been with is always from work. The quickest people to fucking fall in love are two fucking coworkers. I'm just no fucking lie about that. Every single fucking time. So basically he started messing with this girl, and then, from his job, and he stopped coming home. His ass would be coming home like 2-3 in the morning. And then it got later and later, and then started messing with another girl from the same fucking job. And then he had a full-blown relationship with that bitch. And, I'm sorry to even call her that because, I don't know her, you know what I mean? So that's my bad. But anyway, so he wound up holding a relationship with the second person. Now, get this, the first person was taken, already married or whatever. So he was her side dude, but he was giving her more respect. For me, you giving this bitch more respect. Like, it took months. Like, when I found out, all I said was, whenever you decide to do it, please let me know. And, he was already talking to this person for months. It wasn't until, like, he got a message in the middle of the night, and she's talking about, oh, baby, this, I can't wait to see you tomorrow, or this and that for whatever. And I'm thinking, like, what the fuck is this shit? I thought you was going to tell me, blah, 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 blah. Not that I go through his, or, went through his phone at the time. I didn't go through his phone. I didn't go through his phone. It's there. So if we're laying next to each other and you sleeping with your phone, and, you're sleeping with your phone, and obviously when you fall dead to sleep, it's right in the middle of both of us. If it's fucking vibrating or ringing, I'm going to look down and see what the fuck it is. And of course, it was a message coming through, And again, it's not what you think it is. I'm not trying to paint him out to be a bad dude. It's just, it was a bad situation. So he's not a bad dude at all, but it was a bad situation. And the way he handled it to me was not in great taste. And I'm not saying I was perfect either, but, I tried to communicate. I felt like I tried to communicate a lot, and I didn't. And well, he figures I didn't, but I did. And, so he goes on with this second relationship, and he was, he didn't tell her about me. So this girl is, so he's always gone. Even holidays, like it was New Year's or something. I said, look, I work overnight. When I come home, all I'm asking you is to be home New Year's morning when I come home at 6 a.m. Can you be home? Like, so I could feel like, we're bringing in New Year's together, even though it's 6 a.m. Go do what you want to do, but can you just be home? Okay, yes, da-da-da. Then he don't come back for 2 days. And that what started the whole thing. You know what I mean? He's still thinking at that time that we were on this open relationship. And then when we talk about it, I'm like, he said, no, you never specified that. I don't do curfews. I don't do rules. I don't do this and that for, if I'm going to build a rapport with somebody, that's the process. You have to spend time with them. No, the fuck you don't. Because you don't have to build a rapport that much to where you are literally forgetting about who you have at home and going to this next broad and acting like y'all in a whole new relationship that you ain't got nobody. And that's on you. I never once came to any one of these women about him. I went directly to him. But, you know, you had some people that were very disrespectful to me and never stood up for me. And that was the sad part. Like, why didn't I not see those signs? Because you're blinded by love. You're blinded because you felt like I invested so much. So guess what? There's a whole I'm going to write a book because it's just a whole long drawn out mess. So with the most recent, you know, we broke up basically. But to him, we're not broken up. Yeah. So, you know, you talk to him and you're like, how are we not broken up? Because we're still cool. Don't get me wrong. We're still cool. Like, we're like, for me, I always felt he was my best friend. And, but, I guess I wasn't right for him, at some point. I guess he felt like I wasn't right, and that's okay. But, kind of find out through these past years, he lied to me basically our whole relationship. He lied to me, but he got so upset and got tantrums because I lied to him. You know what I'm saying? Like, men don't process, or men can't handle the shit that we handle. So they go around, or he goes around thinking that, like, he don't do nothing wrong. And you literally did things wrong. And I found all this proof, all these pictures, all these videos, all these this and that and the fourth, from people, tagging him and stuff and this and that and forth or whatever. And I'm like, yo, you told me you don't mess with that girl. You told me you didn't mess with that girl. This and that for blah, 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 blah. Like, I have a right to get mad still to this day. And I mean, not that upset, but mad because you lied. Not because of who you with, but you keep lying, or you kept lying about that person. So I have a right to be or do whatever the fuck I want to do and be mad about whatever the fuck I want to be mad about. So, for him, he didn't lie. So you're just like, I don't know what's going on. But we're supposed to be together. We're still together. His thing is, we are, it's more than love. And I looked that up. The other day and I said, what is more than love? You know what I mean? Like, I can't describe it. That's what he's basically saying. I can't describe it. It's more than a husband and wife relationship. It's more than this and that and the fourth. It's higher than all that. It's higher than all that, but you left me for someone else, right? So what is it? Admiration? Like, you admire me? You're very fond of me? Like, you know what I mean? And we're not in a relationship, bro. And, at the time, he wouldn't even say, like, because I was confused, because I literally would still think that there was hope. And any guy that I tried to talk to, I wasn't giving them the real me. I wasn't giving them any type of actual time of day, you know what I mean, or whatever. I mean, a girl got needs now, but that's pretty much it. Like, I wasn't wanting no relationship, because all I wanted was a relationship with him. And, you could say, oh, you look stupid, or you look, fuck you. Fuck you. No, I'm not stupid. I'm not dumb. I just believe in love. Love is my religion. You know what I mean? Like, I really believe in love. I believe that, a lot of things can be conquered, even though love is just a feeling or an emotion or whatever you want to call it. I believe in it. Like, so I believe it can cure a lot of things. I believe that, showing a lot of kindness could really make a difference in a person's life, no matter if you know them or you don't, but, he just, and it's like, you never get a straight answer. You would never get a straight answer from him. And, you can't get a straight answer. I'm sitting here looking for closure it was a long time. I was looking for closure, and I would allow him to come over and thinking that, if he comes over, it'll be normal. Like, like watch our shows that we normally watch together and this and that for whatever, you know what I mean? But whoever he's with, congratulations, sweetheart, because you changed him a lot. Remember I told you he said that he don't believe in curfews and he can stay out as long as he want to and or whatever, when he was with me. Yeah. So when he used to come and spend a little bit of time with me, or whatever, it'll be like every single time that he did come by, which would literally be like once or twice out the month, he would leave. Exactly. He'd get a text message at 5 in the afternoon or 6 in the afternoon. Now, mind you, he probably came here about 2 in the afternoon. So 2 to 6, he's getting a phone call, getting text message the whole time he's on his phone. I'm sitting here like, yo, really? But we're still together, right? Oh, I gotta go. Now you got curfews. Now, you gotta be home or whatever. And then to him, I'm not living nowhere. What are you talking about home? What are you talking about an address? What are you talking about this and for? Nigga, you ain't been living with me. The fuck you talking about? So if I say you're going home, go home. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know this and that for. Okay. It was just a whirlwind of craziness. A whirlwind of craziness, and it got to a point where my mental health was in jeopardy, in danger. You get depressed because you allowed that person to give you breadcrumbs, and you took those breadcrumbs in the hopes that things will be okay or even better if y'all get back together. And in all honesty, he didn't want to be back with you. He just couldn't tell you. And his actions were just that. But you want to believe his words when he says, you can't believe my action. You can't believe my words and my actions are never going to match because I'm not like everybody else. I'm different. You wanted to believe those things. But your actions and your words were matching for whomever you decide to be with. It was just that you didn't want to do that for me. And that's what I had to come to a conclusion about. I wasn't your person. And it's okay now. But that was hard to take. That was hard to come to that realization after all these years of dedication, regardless of me cheating or him cheating or being verbally abusive or being, this and that for whatever. It's just you tend to start to be okay. And the longer that person is away from you, the more you'll be okay. So I had to put a stop to the 1 or 2, 3 days or maybe even 4 days out the month of coming and see me. Because as soon as you get good, that's when you get a phone call or a text message and you just like fall right back in your relapse. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not good. It's not good for your mental health. And if you're way beyond that to where you can't get that under control for yourself, ain't nothing wrong with going to talk to somebody. Don't talk to your friends because your friends don't want to hear it. I mean, I was talking my girlfriend's ear off. Sorry, Poison, but I love you. But I was talking her ear off about it all the damn time. It consumed me. It consumed me. It consumed me. And it consumed me to a point where you're obsessed. And why are you obsessed? There's so many fucking men out here. Why are you obsessed with this one? And it's because of the years you put into it. It's because of the years you put into it. And then you're really not obsessed with him. You're obsessed with why. You're obsessed with the who. You're obsessed with the, everything behind it. Not him. You want to know, why is it so easy that I see you clearly doing the things that I asked you to do for me, but you're doing it for someone else and you couldn't do it for me? So you're obsessed with that. And you want to know, you want closure on the why. You wanted closure, or I wanted closure onto the who, because you would lie to me and I would literally see all the information and you would lie in my face. In my face, you would lie and turn around and tell me, I'm not messing with her. I'm not messing with her no more. Or, I don't even know who that is. But you get information. Just like he used to get information about me. I don't know how he did it, but he was great. He was great. He was great at getting you to show your hand. Like literally sit there and say, I would never come to you if I didn't have proof. If I don't I can have my assumptions all I want to. That's what he said. I can have my assumptions all I want to. But I would never come and step to you and ask you a question or accuse you of anything if I didn't have proof. That is manipulation 101, if you ask me. Because if he knows you, he knows how you think. He knows how and what he can get away with. So, but just by saying that and showing me that I'm serious, I'm so serious. If you don't tell me this, because I already know, but I need you to tell me, or I'm leaving, and putting that fear in your heart, because he knows how much you love him. It's just sad that he knows that you love him way more than he loves you. Bad, bad, bad. So bad. I tell him everything. I told him everything. Everything. Well, I've slipped up and lied a couple of times with it, but I told him everything. Give him my whole fucking hand. Give him my whole fucking hand. Every single time, and you're just like, straight up bullshit. This is fucking chess. You know, you have to go through a lot of relationships, or a few relationships, because one person, you know, you don't know if they're going to be the one or not. So, you know, you can't get frustrated, you can't get mad, but you can't get to the point where you're obsessed with wanting to know the why. They'll never give it to you. I've never gotten it, but you gotta get over it. You gotta get over it, and you gotta move on. You got a life to live, because he didn't stop living his life. I don't care how mad he felt like he was, because the relationship, I felt, ended, and he still to this day thinks that we're in a relationship. But I don't understand how that's even possible when we don't even date. We don't go nowhere. We don't, you know what I mean? Nothing. Like, you don't even call me. You don't even text me unless it's pretty much to say, oh, hey, you remember how to do this? Or, oh, do you think you can? Or, you know what I mean? That ain't love, bro. So we always want closure. So we want to know the why, and we get obsessed when we want to know why. We want to know all the secrets that they held back from the relationship. And it's just like, forget about it. You don't need closure. You really don't. Some people do very well, and some people feel like they're mature off the simple fact that they can leave a relationship and be okay with the fact that that one's happy with this other person, and he's happy with someone else. So, you know, at the end of the day, we're still cool. We're still friends. Nah, I got to get to that level, baby. That's not being immature. That's you taking your time and healing and understanding and processing things the way you need to process it, and being okay with it, and being okay, because you have to be okay. You know, and I think a lot of men are okay with leaving a relationship. And even if you said, fuck you, get out, they're okay, because they already got, they got over you by being up underneath someone else. That's the best phrase I've ever heard in my life. And to me, it's true. Because when he had nothing and we had no one, he wanted to stay. When he didn't have nothing, and I cheated, and he was at the brink of not having nothing going on in his life, and having no one else that he was talking to, and having, you know, really just in his own, you know, world, and not wanting to talk to me about what was going on with him. You know what I mean? But basically shutting me out. He wanted to show his feelings, you know, try to express the best way he could on what he wanted, but it didn't happen like that. So, you know, I just personally feel like, you know, you really need to just be able to heal on your own. You can't go back to that person, because all you're only doing is hurting yourself. You're hurting yourself by trying to always talk to them, by trying to include them in little activities here and there or whatever. You're hurting them. You just need to leave them alone. Leave them alone. I mean, I've heard it a million times from my friend. You know, leave him alone. You know what I mean? You'll be able to get over him, and you definitely will. You'll be able to. It's a long, drawn out process sometimes, but you'll be able to. And it doesn't seem like he it seemed like he got over it that quick because he moved on to another relationship. There's not been one time where I feel like he was ever by himself to be able to process and get to know himself. So I'm right now been on a journey for about a year or a year and a half, going on 2 years now. Yeah. Of, getting myself together and doing what's best for me. You know what I mean? So, I just feel like you don't need closure. We don't need closure. We feel we need closure, but, I feel like do something productive. If you get that hatred in your heart because they left and they left on bad terms and they just did you fucking dirty, or they lied to you and you found out they lied and this and that and forth or whatever, here's what I did. I videoed myself a message to him, but I never sent it. It's just like how my mom used to say, however you're feeling about a person, instead of saying it to them because you might regret what you're saying because you probably don't really mean it, write a letter and, then rip it up, throw it away, burn it, this and that forth or whatever. And as long as you're getting it out of your system, you'll be fine. So if that's talking to a counselor, if that's doing a video, message to that person, but not sending it, don't fucking send that shit. Or writing a letter to that person or this and that for, just don't send it. You know what I mean? Like, you're adding fuel to the fire for no reason. Because they don't really care. They don't care what you gotta say. They're already living their life. They're living their best life. So, just move on. It's just totally not worth it. We don't really need closure. We really don't. You're never going to get the true answer that you want or need because you're looking for something, for them to say something, and they're not going to say what you want. So, with that being said, we don't need closure, but I will leave you off with this. If you're in a relationship with anyone, you got to think of yourself like a bank. And I'm not talking about money-wise, but the whole process. So with a bank, right, you go open up an account. So they're opening up an account with you. You're the bank. You give them an account based on their scores, meaning personality, meaning, manners, meaning whatever you have as your standard to be with someone. You're allowing them to open an account with you, and you're allowing them to make deposits. And that deposit is confirmation that those deposits are, love, that those deposits are, being considerate. Those deposits are, being, having sympathy. Those deposits are being there for you when you need them the most. Deposits are anything into those realms of a relationship that you like in your relationship. You know what I mean? When they're making those deposits, you know what I mean? Obviously their account is going to accrue interest. You're going to give them interest, right? But when they start withdrawing the deposits that they're making, their balance is going to get lower and lower. So the interest is going to get lower, right? And then what happens? What happens next is that they're withdrawing so much that they get into a negative balance. And then you have to stop them and say, hey, you are negative such and such amount. You're going to have to make a deposit in order to get back right, in order to get in good standing. But, to them, they're like, you let me get away with it before, so I'm going to make one good faith deposit, right? So you're just like, okay, I'll let you keep your account open. Then they're going to then they're going to slack off and then take that deposit back. And now they're back at a negative balance. And then guess what they're going to do? Because now you're sending them another letter saying, hey, your account is negative. It needs to be paid. You need to pay all this negative balance in 30 days or in 15 days, or, you're going to have an overdraft fee. And you know what them overdraft fees can be, a little bit much. So if that overdraft fee going to be somebody hooping and hollering, yelling, nagging, you know what I mean? Okay, I'll take that. As long as I can keep on doing what I want to do. They make a small deposit to get their balance back up, right? Now they're taking more money out again, or they're taking more deposits out. Withdrawals out. They keep withdrawing and withdrawing. Why would you keep letting somebody withdraw? Once you start seeing once you start seeing the, how do they put it? Once you start seeing the pattern of all these withdrawals, and now they're not making any deposit to make it in good standing anymore, what does the bank do? The bank closes your fucking account. So guess what? Close their fucking account. Get them the fuck out of your bank. They don't need to be there no more. They don't. So now you ban them from your fucking bank and you move on to the next person. You let that person see if they're going to be able to keep their balances up. But think of it that way. Again, you don't need closure. You just need to know what's right for you in a relationship and need to know when to leave. So with that note, I am the Bored Milf. It's been great talking to you guys, and I hope we could talk again. Because again, if you're bored, let me know. We can talk about whatever you want to talk about. All right. So follow me on Anchor Podcast. I am on Apple Podcast. I am on Spotify. I am on Breaker. I am on, just a whole list of them. Just go look me up, the Bored Milf Podcast, on one of your favorite, favorite platforms. I'm also on YouTube at the Bored Milf. I'm on Instagram at the Bored Milf. So come and check me out, everybody. Subscribe to my YouTube page. Subscribe to, or, follow me on Instagram. Trying to get more things going for you guys. And I hope you enjoyed this conversation today, even though it's by myself. But I love you guys so much. Thank you. Take care. Enjoy your night.